All right, welcome in everyone. Monday afternoon, so that means we're going to be talking Champions League. And since we got the semis, we're going to dabble in the Europa League as well, since that's Joey's B's favorite. And I guess AJ's club is playing in it. If you're with us last season, United disappointed big time in the same spot. So, do they have revenge on their mind? Will they finally get a trophy? We'll get all that into you. AJ might have some harsh words on it. But what's up, fellas? How you doing today, AJ?
Dude, awesome. Semifinals week. Looking for revenge. Always like 0-7 or in semifinals or something like that. So turning the tide this week, but excited to be on here. Joey B, how we feeling?
It's time to make it 1-7. I have faith in him this year. We could see two English teams or I guess four in each final. Two for Champions League, two for Europa League. I'm hoping we see I don't know, not a English final in either league. So, but yeah, it should be some good games. Yeah, I'm excited for some big games. I'm rooting for people to choke, rooting for some people to come through. So, who knows what's going to happen?
All right. Well, just because you brought that to my attention, there's probably a line out there, but I'll give you a rec special prop bet for that. You made my mind thinking. Of course, I went directly to the odds. But with the Champions League, guys, it's not canceled. It tried. They really, really tried, but they're just giving out more money to have this be playing. So we got one match on Tuesday, one match on Wednesday. We'll get into each of those. Then we'll get into the Europa League. Then we'll do our little special section that we always like to do because if we're talking Champions League, you can't neglect any of them. And then, as usual, our best bets. But since there's only 4 games here, we'll give out our bets throughout if we give it here so we don't get a little redundant. So make sure we'll recap it at the end, but make sure to keep your ear out there. If you got any plays or if you like a side to advance, hit us up in the comments. We'll feature you on the screen with your comment because we always want to see what you guys are playing. So the first match we got up tomorrow in the Champions League is you got Chelsea versus Real Madrid. You got Madrid as plus 130 at home. You got Chelsea at plus 234 on the road. So you get plus money on both of these matches. You'll see that in the other Champions League as well. The total is probably what's going to catch your eye at first because you got a 2 sitting out there. Yes, it's a heavily juiced at minus 140, so you can get the under 2 at plus 110 if you're an absolute wild man, because I just don't think you're probably going to be watching the match if you're betting an under 2 because, man, any quick shocker to this, I mean, both of these teams do like to sit and park the bus. So that's where I think the mentality between the low 2 is, especially under Tuchel. You can count on one hand since he's been a manager how many games have surpassed a 2.5, let alone a 2. So bookies are thinking it's pushing it as worse. AJ, I know you have thoughts on this total.
Yeah, it's Rex has his like fishy rat bait line. I don't know, but this number doesn't make too much sense to me. But I do think Tuchel and his unders are better at home. This one is in Real Madrid, so that is an angle to look at if you are interested in that. I don't know. Do you guys think this is going to be a match where both teams just kind of feel each other out and are satisfied with like a 1-1 draw and just all or nothing second leg? What are you guys thinking?
Madrid isn't happy with that 1-1 because Madrid wants to get out of there 1-0 or 1-0, 2-0, just because that away goal holds so much pressure. So that's especially if Chelsea gets on the board first, they're going to be more than happy with a 1-1 result.
Joey B?
Yeah, I agree. I do think this game definitely starts slow. It's actually the only game of the 4 that I don't have a play on. But if I were, I think it's hard. The only reason I would take like an over 2.5 is to be like contrarian. Kind of the only way I'd see it. I don't really necessarily agree with it. I think Rex kind of hit it nail on the head. I think Madrid's going to be happy with a 1-0, 2-0 type win. And given that, taking like Madrid, both teams to score no is plus 260, so some decent value. But I think both teams will be happy with a 1-1 draw, or not both teams. I think there's a good chance this game ends 1-1. I think it's going to be a really slow start. So like a halftime draw or like maybe second half over 1.5. I don't know. I think it also matters who, like Rick said, who scores first. If Chelsea scores first, Real will push a little harder, but I don't think Chelsea's going to push back, I guess. If they go up 1-0, they're going to hold on to that 1-0 lead as hard as they can, knowing that they'll have an away goal. And I think just having one away goal will be a huge bonus in this in the two-leg games.
So of injury note or of injury concern, doesn't look like I don't know. There's some Ramos looks to be out, and then Kovac on Chelsea looks to be out. Other than that, it seems like Lucas, Mendy, and Valverde could be out. So no one of that big of note that would swing me personally, because Ramos, he's been out for most of the Champions League at this point. When he did come back, that's when Real has looked their strongest. There's no surprise there. Will he be looking like a fine server on the sideline? He hasn't came back out with that fresh getup that he did the last time in the Champions League. But this is where the Asian handicap drew my eye the most, because the Madrid money line at plus 130 is a nice. I think that's the way you have to go, because if it's a draw, I don't have much faith in Madrid going into Stamford Bridge to pull it out. So that's just where. Yes, it's minus 0.25 at minus 105, so you essentially get half of it back if it draws. If you had to force me, I'd either lean that angle, or it makes no sense, just ride the Chelsea money line, because you can get fancy and get creative like Joey B does, but this is kind of where I have no strong convictions. If I'm contemplating both sides as strong, I'm just laying this one off.
Yeah, I think that was, you could talk me any way in this game. You could talk me both teams to score as like a value bet, I guess, close to plus one, like I guess close to even money. Just thinking a 1-1 game, but you could give me both teams to score no, thinking the game may end 0-0 as well. So you can pull me any which way. I just have no good read on this for a bet.
All right, so no best bets for this one. Coming up in this City versus PSG match, you got PSG as plus 225 home dogs. You got City at plus 111. Man, you've seen that out on the timeline a decent amount at this point with City at plus money. This late in the season, everyone's licking their chops at that. Then you have an over-under of 3 with a juiced under at minus 135. So it's basically the reverse flip of the previous match, where are they hanging that plus money over out there just to get whoever out there because they see PSG, they see City. I mean, PSG's defense is the one part of me that's keeping me strictly off this total, because the contrarian sign does seem to be playing the under, even though it is juiced in this way, just because even though City does like their shutout wins, I haven't been convinced from PSG up top, because sure, Bayern's defense is something else, but that second leg, I could be taking too much of an account of there. But when you lose 1-0 at home and still get to advance on the away goals, that's just kind of where I want to play this City at the plus money, but I just think it's too public. Sure, there's probably a little bit of value left in it, but still at the same time, when you get the favorites on the road first, that always sets up the weird angle, how if you want to approach it in that aspect, as you have to take that second leg into account, unlike last year, which was the only season where we never had a second leg in the Champions League.
Yeah. Joey B, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I got a bet on this game, taking both teams to score over 2.5. It's at minus 113. I think it's a price you kind of got to take it, at least in my opinion. I think there's a good chance we may see 3 goals. I could definitely see either side winning 2-1. There's not a ton of juice on it, so that's kind of what is drawing me in. But again, we could see it end 1-1, but I would kind of lean towards PSG. I think just a good value on them. They're a top team in the world, obviously, but at plus 225, just take a shot at it's a good underdog. I think I would be taking them in the first leg more than I would want to take Chelsea as an underdog. But yeah, I just think we see goals. I don't really care if Mbappe's hurt or starting. I think just the mentality of these two teams is just going to feed into goals. I think a first half over. I don't think these guys will take it slow by any stretch of the imagination. But given, I feel like this is the final a lot of people were hoping for between these two teams, especially with Bayern obviously knocked out, but a Bayern City matchup was a final, and then PSG is probably maybe the third best team in there. So maybe they play a little tighter than normal, given the larger than. I feel it'll feel more like a final, I guess. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I just think I see goals. Both teams are scoring over 2.5 goals. It's if I don't take it, if it doesn't win in this one, I may double down and put double the money on in the second leg. So one of these legs has to have goals.
I like that. Okay, completely like a little off topic, but there has been a trend in like the last 7 or 8 years that the last 7 or 8 winners have either been Bayern or beaten Bayern on the way to the Champions League final. How much value does that hold with PSG?
None.
Okay,
Gambler's fallacy.
I got one none here and one guy sort of interested here. So Joey B, what piques your interest on that one?
I mean, it doesn't really tell me a ton besides like, oh, Bayern either won or a really good team beat Bayern. So it's not like the something I would consider, but I do kind of feel that we get the winner of the final out of this matchup. So does that translate to the team that beat Bayern or a team that either, I don't know, like PSG beat Bayern and now Man City beats PSG who beat Bayern. Like, does that translate as well? Who knows? But yeah, I just feel one of these two teams, whoever advances from here, will win in the final.
Well, you could get a little crazy then with that mentality because the odds overall, you got City at plus 110 to win Champions League. You got PSG at plus 250. Do some math on that. You could guarantee a profit. Sure, it's probably going to be like 0.4 units max, but hey, if it's $1,000 on each side or something like that, that's still $400 if you. I mean, I'm not advising into that whatsoever, but I'm just saying if you really truly believe that and your gut's telling you that, sure, it could only be like 10 or $15 if you're a little bit of a low roller, but it's still a good strategy to take if you have that much of conviction. You got Chelsea at plus 350, Real Madrid at plus 325, just to kind of round out the Champions League odds for it overall. The more you guys are talking about this match, the more I want to go on PSG, but is Neymar literally going to have 0.75 of XG again and probably not hit the net on a shot and just not be able to finish? Because especially if Mbappe is, I mean, he's just unhuman because he'll probably play easily through his injury. But Neymar has just been that missing piece. I think they are extremely lucky to have gone out of that Bayern. And maybe it is the coach leaving, all that distraction finally caught up to them because you just don't fluky advance past them. But when you do flukily do it, you get a 1-0 home loss to do it. So I do think after Joey B said it more where the value could be on PSG after I thought it was on City at plus 110, that could have just been a little bit of a public brain thought right there. But yeah, as of right now, looks like I'll be sitting out both of the Champions League matches from a gambling perspective.
Yeah, I think for me, the only gambling I'll do on this is a little Taco Bell money on both English teams to make it to the final. And if you're extra saucy, both of the Europa League as well for a 4-teamer.
So to advance or just win the first leg?
No, advance to the final.
All right, so now it's Europa League time. I'll rattle off the odds real quick overall. So you got United as the favorites at even. Then you get Arsenal at plus 275. That's just wild. You got Villarreal at plus 400. Then you have Roma at plus 550. Joey B does love our Europa League. Writes an article about it. Covered the hell out of it last year, which was insane. This year he took more of a he's saving his fingers a lot of time for how much writing he was doing for those last ones. But let's hit on these matches very quickly because you got United as a minus 175 home favorite. That moved big time after Joey B said that Caligari was a sneaky home dog this past weekend. Ended up upsetting Roma 3-2. So that line, it moved about like 25 to like 30 cents after that result. So if you had United beforehand, good for you because Roma is now sitting at +1 on the goal line at a minus 125. You're over 2.5 at -125 here seems to be extremely short in my opinion because, I mean, I was more just with the trends. Everything was like -135 or -140 in the books. I expected this one to be up there as well because, I mean, if you're going to give up 3 on the road to Cagliari, are the books disrespecting United's offense that much? Or it did seem like Roma really packed it in and saved their team for this match because that's kind of where the +1 at -125. I think this is a push at worst. No, that's not me just wanting to back a Serie A team, but I do think I wouldn't want to lay the -1 here.
Yeah, my first bet of the show for this is going to be the over 2.5. Like Rex said, I think this is a little short. United over the weekend rested Pogba, they rested Cavani, but taking a United over is very scary. Just sort of like Real Madrid sort of deal where they could just sit and win 1-0, be happy with it. But I do think we see some goals here. And I do think Roma, although they are from the Serie A, I do think they are a capable-ish team, I guess. I don't know if Serie A has too many great teams. I don't know. But that's beside the point. I think we see at least 3 goals in here. Joey B, I know you also have a play on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking, as Rex likes to say, getting fancy. I'm taking Man U and under 4.5 goals. It's -118. I think Man U will get the win. They're the home team here. I made a joke. I guess I'll prelude to my other play. I'm taking both the home favorites in Europa. So obviously can't go wrong there. But for Man U, I just think Roma, they did like Rex said, rest and sit and prepare for this game this past weekend. They lost to Cagliari. I just think Man U gets the job done here. They won't want to give up an away goal. They have I don't want to say a good defense, but a strong defense to kind of counter the Roma attack. But I just don't see the 2.5. I think is a short number. I think we could see 3 goals, maybe 4 goals. I don't think we're going to see 5. And I think at the worst, Man U win this game 3-1, 2-1. I'm hoping for AJ and I to find that middle ground here and cash both our bets.
It's just, well, that's why the one bet I really wanted to make was the handicap, the Asian handicap for Roma, but I just can't do it with this squad. It's this defense. I mean, they've been leaky more recently than not. And in net, I mean, Lopez hasn't had the season they're expecting. Their like splits are almost even between Morante, which isn't a good sign. Lopez has 8 more starts, but the attack, I mean, unless they're going to rely on Mkhitaryan and Dzeko, their prior Premier League players from 3+ seasons ago. Oh, Mkhitaryan's a lot more recently. But if they're going to rely on their, I don't want to call them washed up Premier League players, but the talent discrepancy is just a little too large for me in this one. So that's where if you really want to not be square, but a -175 for United as like your lower bet for a parlay, a square parlay, that kind of seems where you could get the best angle for it if you like an anchor in like the -225 or 250 range.
I got a question for you guys. You guys are the more you talk, the more I like the over. Do you think taking Man U and over 1.5 -121 is a better bet than the under 4.5, or do you guys? What do you think on that one? Like, do you see Man U winning 1-0? But I also kind of don't see a 3-2 winner for Man U or a 4-1 winner.
I forgot to rag on Chris Smalling in that prior aspect as well. Just you got a midfielder, you got a defender, and a striker. That's an interesting proposal. Would I rather have the over 1.5 or the under 4.5? I think I'd rather have the under 4.5 here because there is a chance that Roma does show up for this one and United just squeak out the 1-0 winner. 5 is definitely like, I don't think that has like a less than, I definitely do think it has a strong shot, but I'd rather be holding that because sweating a 1-0 game in this one could be pretty rough because both of these teams do decide they're just going to forget how to finish for a match or two against Leeds more recently.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. You're more likely to get a 1-0 victory than a 5-goal game, so hold on to that under 4.5.
All right, so I've been trying to come up with witty names for this Villarreal Arsenal one because you can take it a lot of places with Emery here. So insert whatever joke, make sure it's pretty good since I am a funny guy. But you got Villarreal at plus 150, you got Arsenal at plus 190, you got a semi juiced under 2.5 at minus 120, which is definitely where I was going to be going if that was sitting closer at the even or minus 105 range because I think this is an ultimate snoozer given how Arsenal's matches have been pretty recently. They didn't rest as much as I was expecting for them to do against Everton. It was more of their injuries kept it out more than rotation in that aspect. But this is where I'm going on the Villarreal money line at plus 150 for my first bet, just because Emery, he has to pull out a result here. A draw isn't the worst thing to do going to Emirates, but if he can just have that one goal in his pocket, I think that sets up for exactly how he wants to set out for that second leg. I think Villarreal will get a nice little benefit for actually drawing the home side in the first. I think both Europa teams will compared to the Champions League. So that's why I do like Villarreal. I got them at plus 150 for my bet.
Yeah, Joey B, I also know you have a play on this game, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm taking the. I'm playing a little safer, laying a little bit of juice. I know Rex will roll his eyes at me, but I'm just taking Villarreal draw no bet minus 125. So if there is a draw, I'm getting my money back. Like Rex said, I think this game's going to be a snoozer. Should be, I think 1-1 at worst, but Villarreal may get a 1-0, 2-0 type win here. Is what I'm expecting. Yeah, Arsenal's offense hit or miss. They may win this game 3-0. Who knows? But I just think I'm willing to take the strong Spain side. They have them. I mean, obviously Sevilla has their own history in Europa, but I think the Spain teams, especially in Europa, just tend to be underrated in some regard. And I think Villarreal is maybe had a little easier of a route to get here, but I think they're a strong side. They are a pretty bad matchup for Arsenal. I think just any La Liga team is, especially the way I think Villarreal kind of has a pretty tough defense, and Unai Emery will know how to kind of counter this Arteta ball a little bit, I think.
Yeah, usually I like to play contrarian, and in my head I'm sitting here, what does Arsenal have going for them? And I don't think they have anything going for them. Their fans want the owners out. They're losing to Everton. I don't even know where Aubameyang is anymore. He's like off Twitter, off the face of the universe. So if I had to pick a player,
it's because he got a sick. Didn't Aubameyang get malaria from playing in the African Nations Cup?
I don't know.
There was one player who came back from it. No, there was one player who came. I'm like 99% sure it was him. Yeah, he ended up contracting it before he came back because everyone's saying it was COVID. Then they said it wasn't COVID related. So I think he got a bad case of of malaria.
Oh,
so that's just where. That's why he's been out.
Oh, but point still stands. Aubameyang won't be playing. So I think for me, Villarreal or nothing. I don't have an official play, but that's the side I lean with on this.
Well, yeah, to just build off what you said, what has Arsenal done recently to be a plus 190 dog? Because it's moved it a little bit because you see it like plus 160, plus 175, depending on how lenient your book is, because you're essentially getting only 10 to 15, 20 cents max in the Villarreal aspect. Joey B, I'm not rolling your eyes at you because we cashed on that Caligari way. If the pick was closer to a minus 105, I probably would have been on that instead. But since, yes, that little bit of the extra juice there did keep me off it, but it's always nice having that draw in your back pocket. So, AJ, you kind of already alluded to it, but the fun prop bet I was going to do is over or under 2.5 English teams in the finals. The 2.5 over is going to be it's going to be juicy, and it's going to be like a minus like 150-ish because the 3 you would get the plus money at. You get like the plus 110. So you could take it either way you want if you want to take the push, but that's my prop is over under 2.5 English teams in the finals.
I think realistically, I would have to take the under on that.
Yeah.
As
Wow.
sadly as it sucks, I think Villarreal gets through. So then you would need both of the other. I think United gets through as well. So then you would need both of the English Champions League teams to get through, and I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I would take the under. Just City and United. I can see the two Manchester sides, but which of the other two teams? Who knows? And I'm not even as I'm a closeted secret Man City fan a little bit, but they're not even a shoe in. Even in but yeah, yeah, Chelsea's a sneaky one. They could just advance on a 1-0 aggregate game. I feel like in between the two legs, just no one scores a goal until Giroud scores a goal in the 80th minute in the second leg or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, definitely the under. I'm hoping we don't see an all English final on either side. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for. I mean, you want to watch a Man U Arsenal Europa League final? No, thank you. It's going to be 0-0 the whole way for 120 minutes.
Free under. Under J loves unders. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll wrap us up for the European UEFA League. So now let's get into the real Champions League real quick with the CONCACAF, because we got 5 MLS teams through, 3 Liga MX, which is the superior league. That's still to be seen, but pretty impressive, because if there's a chance for the MLS to finally get a winner in here, I guess this could be your best chance, because you got the Union and Atlanta United tomorrow night. You got ATL as small favorites, and then you got Toronto FC hosting Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul is the road favorite here, right around an even price. So that was a pretty shocking one, but Toronto FC hasn't been healthy. Pozuelo has been out, so I'm not too shocked. And then you got the Crew as another home dog to Monterrey, hosting Monterrey, and you have the Timbers as a home dog to Club America. So even though I'm hoping for it, and if they're really going to count on the winner of the Union versus Atlanta, which is probably, as of right now, the third and fourth strongest side, with Toronto FC being the weakest MLS side, it's not looking too hot for the MLS to get a CONCACAF champion out of this one. AJ, I know you're the big Liga MX guy.
Am I allowed to pass? I am. I'm usually not stumped. I usually could have something to say, but Liga MX, I know nothing on. I am sorry, viewers. I'm sorry, Rex, to disappoint you. But Joey B, any thoughts?
No thoughts. I was just going to ask Rex which MLS underdog has the best chance to get through.
Not Toronto FC. Throw them out. The
Okay.
Timbers have the best chance, I think, to pull out a result at home, because we saw Club America. They're the ones that tied the Haitian side and then beat them by a touchdown the second time, plus the 2-point conversion. So that's just kind of where the Timbers have the best chance to pull out a result. And they have the highest odds technically to win the match. The Crew is the one that Monterrey has probably been I don't want to say the weakest of the sides from the Liga MX that's here, but the Crew had a bye as well, because one MLS team will have a bye each week. So it's nice how it worked out from there. So I would say the Crew would be the one. If I had to pick, I would choose them, just because it's set up well how their bye week came into play here.
And then one last question: are we fading these teams in the MLS in this weekend coming up?
Don't have them in your MLS fantasy team. Big thing. Didn't have a single member for any of these clubs in my MLS fantasy team, but you can definitely look into it. The Union would be one to look into fade potentially coming out of this match, especially because, sure, they have the least travel, but I would say next week fade them in 2 weekends, because all these clubs have to travel to Mexico and then come back and play a match. So that's where I'd be looking for the harder fade.
Gotcha. Good to know.
All right, so we had to talk CONCACAF if I'm wearing an NISA jersey right now. So, the New Amsterdam Club. Joey B, I 100% did not know it was the New York. They're located in New York, and that's right close to where I am now. So it was pretty good how that worked out. But Icarus has some fire jerseys. I'll have a good next one for Thursday, but let's recap our best bets before we head off. So I got one play only. Stealing that from AJ. I got Villarreal money line at plus 150.
I'm pretty sure you stole that from Joey B.
Well, he meant the one play and one play only, I think.
Oh, yeah, small slate. Rex had a 6-pack over the weekend, and I have the garbage man going. So if you want to go, Joey B, because it's just gonna be loud.
Yes, I got 3 plays. I got the volume covered for you guys in the midweek. Who knows how it'll turn out? Taking PSG and City, both teams to score and over 2.5 at minus 113. Man United and under 4.5 goals at minus 118, and then Villarreal draw no bet minus 125. Also I was gonna say shout out to Rex. I think what'd you go 3-3 this week too, and still pulled out a unit or two of profit. That's pretty good, and it's that plus money MLS that's paying off.
Yeah, that's where the Everton one just kept it whole afloat because I technically lost a little change, but I did do the math, and if I would have played the MLS sides or all my plays at the less a half goal or the quarter of a goal, it would have been like 1.3 compared to 2.04 units. So yep, staying away from that juice did end up paying out.
Perfect. Yeah, I have one play and one play only. Roma United over 2.5 sits at minus 125. Quick disclaimer, when Joey B and I kind of go against each other, it doesn't work out well for me, so take it with a grain of salt.
I think you might have gotten did you get the last one? Maybe not.
No, I had the under in Madrid, Atalanta, and they scored like 5 million goals, so
hell yeah.
I don't know, man. You've been saying under J is back, and the minute after talking all this under hype, you jumped to an over. I might have to be throwing this one in Thursday, especially if Villarreal comes through. This might be. Let me know how much you bet. I'll cover it for us, just so that you've mushed and we'll pay each other out.
Oh, taking United overs are so scary, but I'm addicted to betting United overs, so here we go.
Yes, sir. And so we will be back live on Thursday to cover the domestic slate. We're going to show 2 of the leagues love that we neglect the most out of the big 5. So we'll be talking La Liga and Ligue 1, Ligue 1, whatever you want to call it, because they have the best title races coming into it. Boy, what I've never thought I'd say that about Serie A and be ecstatic about it. So pretty good there. We'll definitely hit on Nagelsmann taking over Bayern. How we like that, just some quick thoughts, system changes, just because it is a decent change he'll be going into. So next week we'll definitely be hitting, or on Thursday we'll definitely be hitting on a lot of other topics. We got the Daryl and Kevin show coming up live after us, probably around 7 p.m. So if you want to talk some NBA action, hop on into their live stream. We got a lot of content coming out at thebreakdownsports.com. You're probably watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, so give us a follow on whatever the other 2 you're not watching us on. Get you covered everywhere so you always get the alerts. Had to be a company man for a second there.
Yeah, perfect. Easy. Quick sign off. FA minus 2.5 tonight at the Garden. Thank you.
Ooh.
Let's go.
NBA winner. We'll have to see how this goes. Joey B, any NBA winners for you off the cup?
Nope, couldn't tell you. I'll tail the Phoenix play though.
Tail the foe play, get some foe. We'll see you Thursday.